Hi, welcome back to Doug's Basement Workshop. If we wait for the trains to stop coming, we could be here all day. So, we've been working on materials for the Glowforge, the CNC machine, materials for the farmer's market. And one of the things we've been trying to do is sawmilling stuff here on the farm. And this is a sawmill piece that sits on top of a 2x4, and you mount a chainsaw into a little bracket. What's this thing called?
Wood Tuff.
A Wood Tuff. And it is tough, except we broke it. It did pretty well. It's got two bolts here on the end.
Nuts.
Two nuts on the end. And where we ran into trouble is where the cast iron meets this peg here, it has come loose and it wiggles. And there's no bearings in this joint here. It just rides metal against metal, and it's starting to wear there, and it's becoming sloppy. We also burned up two of our electric chainsaws. We've run electric Oregon chainsaws, the self-sharpening chainsaws, since we moved here, about 4 years now. And we've cut down literally almost 100 trees with them.
Yep.
We burned up two chainsaws with this mill. They recommend a gas-powered chainsaw, and I can see why. Would you say we've burned up the brushes in them, just running them so hard, so long?
I think we burnt the brushes in it. Yep.
I think a gas-powered saw definitely would have done better. I don't blame the Oregon saw for the problems that we had with this mill. And I've seen tons of people on YouTube running gas saws and having a great experience with this.
Yes. Yep. That's why we got it, because we saw that other people were using them, but we only saw them using it right after they got it out of the box.
True. Now, this comes with two ways to mount this to the saw. It has 3 set screws here, or 2 bolts over here. Now, you bolted this to the Oregon saws.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you felt that the set screws weren't going to hold it tight enough?
Yeah. I thought it would start to slip, even because you do put a lot of stress on that joint right there with the chainsaw, cutting the logs up with it.
Was it hard to drill it out?
You start with a small bit and work up to it. I think that's a 5/16 on that. It wasn't hard. It just probably took me 10 minutes to drill the 2 holes.
Was it hard getting it lined up? I mean, was that the hardest part, getting it lined up?
Deciding where to drill the holes. Yes, that was because you've got your teeth here on the chainsaw to grip into a log, and you had to compensate for that.
Do you think the electric chainsaw is what killed this? Or do you think we just got a bad one?
The electric saw did not change. I think part of the issue is the joint here.
Remember, camera's over there.
The joint here is just a pin through holding it on, and eventually it's going to wear. The other problem we've run into, and I don't know if you can see it on...
Back up some. You're below your camera. There you go.
I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but this side we've tightened it to try to get the slop out of the joint here, and it's bent this. Not bad, but it's to the point we're not going to use this again, as far as I'm concerned. We do have some gas chainsaws, but if I can't run it with an electric one, it's not going to be any better with the gas. What happens is when you're cutting and this starts to get sloppy, your blade binds on you, and that's part of the issue that we've had on cutting logs, is we can't get a nice straight cut, especially when you're going 10 inches deep. The blade will wobble. We come out with pieces that are triangular shaped instead of rectangular shaped. So it's not a bad idea. A little expensive, but for what we learned, it's not bad.
People are going to Google it. How much was it?
I think it was like $54, $55. So, you know, it's not bad for a learning experience, but Long term, folks, I'd be careful.
And not a secret, there's a gold sticker that says made in China. So not a big secret, it's made in China. It does have a bracket down here for different size pieces to ride on top of the log. Now, we've already disassembled the whole setup that we had set up to do this. So basically you're mounted 2x4 to the top of the log, this rides on top and cuts down. I do have some video of him running this, and I'll throw it up in the corner of him running the chainsaw. But, I mean, it's a really cool idea.
Yes.
And if you want to get some slabs, cheap and inexpensive, we were doing pine, but we still really had a hard time with this.
Yeah, you work, I mean, it's not stressful to cut it with this. Actually, it's fairly easy to cut with it, but it doesn't do you any good if you can't get something close to dimensions that you're looking for.
And most of the stuff that came out, honestly, we got maybe a quarter of the lumber would be worth putting through the planer to turn it into dimensional lumber for me to use for the woodworking business. A lot of it's going to get turned into raised beds, turned into a compost bin.
Yeah.
Some of it's getting turned into corner posts for compost bins. So we're going to use all of the stuff that we've cut.
Yeah.
It's just not going to be good dimensional lumber for projects that we had hoped to use it for.
Right. Right.
We are lucky enough that we found a sawmill who will sawmill for us. We're in a rural area. Obviously, we're standing in front of a barn with a tractor. We're in a rural area. There's a couple sawmills around. We did find someone who's going to come pick up our trees for us and take it to a band sawmill and mill it for us. We kind of hope to have the fun of doing it ourselves and saying we did it. It didn't work.
If you have a few trees in your backyard you want to cut up, this isn't a bad idea. But I think we have something like 15 logs sitting out in the yard that we need to cut up. And this is not going to do us any good at this point.
In my opinion, if I had some black walnut or some exotic woods that I didn't have a sawmill around to go to, I would try this. If I was doing pine or an inexpensive wood, I wouldn't bother taking my time, effort, and money to do this.
Right.
I would only do this with an exotic wood, something that was expensive and hard for me to get my hands on. Otherwise, sawmill is going to beat anything else I could do.
And we do have some short black walnut logs that this would have worked very nice on. But we don't dare cut them up now because we don't want to destroy them.
Right, we don't want to get them pie-shaped and get them to a point where they can't go through the planer.
Right.
So hopefully our sawmill guy is going to work out a way to do some shorter stuff for us as well. So all in all, guys, it's a cool tool. If you've got some small stuff, you want to do some exotic woods, you have short projects you want to do, give it a try. It's not a bad tool. Gas saw only, no electric. Yeah, it's worth giving it a try. Would you give it a try again if you had a small project?
Yep, definitely, definitely.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.